Myself and another witness who was arguing in favor of vaccinations and is actually a former operative for Majestic, which is the UFO working group arm of the neoconservative Republican New World Order faction of the world elite. So he's telling you should get the vaccine. Now granted, there is a great deal of science to suggest that vaccines do confer immunity. We are not disagreeing with that. But we are also considering the testimony of people like Jane Burgermeister, a well-known mainstream journalist who happened to go alternative when she started to find out that Baxter Pharmaceuticals, as you all know, had released a vaccine, and thank God these people in Norway injected it into some rats before they gave it to people, and the rats all got bird flu and died. Oops. How did that happen? I don't know how that happened. Did we do that? No, of course not. So look, you also have people in the government who are not high enough to know that this swine flu thing might have been manufactured, and they have a very legitimate concern about the swine flu. It's being kept secret, but they do believe that this could mutate like it did in 1918, that you get sick the first time, it's not that bad, but you get sick the second time and everybody's dying. Millions of people are dying. That's the theory. Let's bear in mind that in 1918, the world was nowhere near as civilized as it is now. Sanitation was much less. And in order for you to have any of these flus, regardless of what they are, get your health down in a negative way, your immune system has to be depleted. What's the biggest thing in this new science I'm going to teach you about that depletes your immune system? Negative thoughts. So if they can keep you in fear, which means that you hate the government, you hate the president, you hate what's happening to your kids in school, you hate the economy, you hate the Federal Reserve, if you're angry and you're fearful all the time, and then they stick out a little virus, guess what happens to you? You get the virus. A virus is a frequency-based entity. As you see in my 2012 Enigma video, polio, rubella, all these various viruses have geometric structure, which is wave particle structure. Geometry can flip around into the time field and become a wave. Kuznetsov, which you're going to see in this presentation, proved that the wave structure of a disease is enough to infect healthy tissue in a hermetically sealed container. You can take the wave structure of a disease, zap it through a hermetically sealed container, and have those cells inside the container catch the disease. A disease is a disease of the mind which has as its medium of transference the consciousness field. That's how you get sick. It's by going out of integrity. The nutritional component is secondary to that. When you're in an area where everybody is depressed because their living conditions are very difficult, they're going to get sick a lot more because they're so negative. So I ask you this. If you can respect yourself enough to no longer let these people into your life on a personal level, is there a 100th monkey effect that happens to the planet? Of course. Of course. And that's what's happening right now. What I said on this panel last night, what I said on the radio show that I just did with Project Camelot on Thursday, what I'm preparing to say on my website, is that we are now at a point where we have graduated. I was told this a year ago. I was actually starting to be told this 2 years ago. It's now happened. We have graduated from the need to have the New World Order running the show. It's over. It's going to be over within less than a year. I'm not trying to be psychic. I'm talking in facts. I'm talking about the simple fact that you cannot lie to people who know the truth. What does a lie require to exist? It requires an absence of information. It requires you not knowing that it's a lie. Because if you're being lied to and you know that it's a lie, then it's not a lie. It becomes an obvious, ridiculous gaffe that this person is making. It becomes a situation that can be remedied because you can start laughing when that person tells you a lie. Because you know the truth. We are watching the derivative system, the Ponzi scheme, and international bankers being ripped apart because the other countries are tired of playing the game. They now have more economic power than the old European white men that run the New World Order and the Illuminati. They no longer have the leverage to be able to do what they're doing. And what I propose to you on an even more intrinsic level is that this is all something that appears to be happening as a result of natural progressions of events. But on another level, it is an energetic phenomenon which is being programmed to occur by a movement into a higher energetic frequency. That frequency is making us more present with ourselves. The best thing you can do for the planet, the best thing you can do to save the children, to avoid the swine flu, to protect yourself and your finances, and to make a better world for future generations is to stay in that state of positive, uplifting peace and gratitude. Can I get an amen on that? Thank you. And I don't profess that I'm the guy you go to for the answers. You can send me your emails. I'm happy to read them. I read all my emails. But this is something that each of us are doing. I've only identified an effect that's happening to everyone. If you want to go religious for a minute, the second coming of Christ, or the messianic return, is something that's happening to everyone. I was talking to Jordan over dinner with Bill and Carrie the other night, and he was telling me that if you really go back into the original Old Testament documentation, that the messianic figure is not one person. It represents this change into a whole new way of being. And so now he's got me convinced that I got to go looking for that data myself. He has reason to believe it's true, and I'm sure he's right, but I need to find my own facts. I don't wait for somebody else to come and teach me something. If I hear something that I like, I go look and I find out for myself. I was told from my own guidance, which is dreams and visions and prophetic information, that there was going to be a great change happening to the Earth and the solar system. I didn't just nod my head like a subservient slave to some higher power and say, yes, you're right, oh lovely master, I will do what you say. I said, no, I can't believe that. I can't believe that the whole world is going to change on an energetic level that will make what we're in now seem like the most miserable depression by comparison, that the life that we have now will become 100 times more harmonious, in which things like instantaneous telepathy, levitation, telekinesis, healing, and flying are so effortless that it's as easy to do as raising and lowering the diaphragm to make your lungs breathe. It requires no extra effort. That seems to be what's going on. There's all these people that we have in Earth's history from a variety of cultures, including Jesus. And if you don't want to believe in Jesus really existing, there's plenty of other cultures you can go to look for so-called ascended masters. They're out there. Guys that have these abilities, guys that do these amazing things. All that represents is somebody who is a little bit farther ahead than you are. Not too much. We know that the ETs that are visiting us are almost entirely human. The widest divergence from a human look that you're ever going to get is the so-called gray. The majority of humans, and we're getting more and more whistleblowers coming forward and telling us the same thing. The ETs are our family. They look like us. They have similar types of voices that we do, although they may not use them anymore, because telepathy works much